Hello all, hello everyone. I'm happy to come to your screen. I just want to share something that really needs to be at the attention of everybody, most of Africa. We in Kenya, we've received positive reports that says that there are people who've been identified that are infected with the coronavirus. And now this one has compelled me to think at the worst case scenario. In our country, we know we lack infrastructure to contain this disease, more so when large number is hit. I want to think at the worst case scenario because one, as I look at this issue of coronavirus attack, it will be a danger to us, and as a result, it will also make us be a danger to one another. Why am I saying this? Our economy is a supermarket economy. We import so many foodstuff coming to our country. In a nutshell, we cannot sustain our economy from the farm produce that is within this country. We have to supplement it. For a case as it is now, the imports of some of these goods is either zero, and other governments of developed countries to contain and eradicate this disease. It is therefore wise for all of us, you and me, to go back to the basic and look at how we can take care of ourselves before it gets to a worse scenario. One, we should ensure that we keep ourselves safe. We wash our hands, we avoid overcrowded places, we sanitize our places, that is where we live, where we work, where we visit, the machineries, tools that we use that are shareable. In doing this, we will ensure that the spread of this disease is reduced to zero. Now, I also want to encourage that we go for checkups if we see the symptoms appearing on us. As I say that, I also want to discourage Kenyans to seize this, which is not good, to only go to hospital when they can't even move a limb. Now, I urge all of us that if you see anything, any symptom, even if it is one, just go for a checkup. These are preventive measures that we take as early as now so that it doesn't get to worst case scenario. But again, I'm also aware that this can go wrong because we lack infrastructure to curtail and contain this disease. For a case where that it hit us hard, because one reason that it can hit us hard is because lack of infrastructure, and even the government plans that are already in place to curtail this. We don't have the infrastructure to act swiftly as other countries. This is the truth. Apart from sharing information over social media, text, and calls, we need now to act. And in acting here, it means even planning. For the longest time, and for the longest time here is eat us for long. If it is spread quite fast, it will take us time to contain it. And therefore, we are both aware that so many things, economical activities, are going to either stall completely or they will operate at a percentage that cannot sustain our economy and our needs as Kenyans. I want to address the issue of food security. You and me, we are aware that we import so many food stuff to supplement the less that we can produce from our farms. And it is also true that because of the attack in our country, the import of good, which include food, there are chances that it will reduce. So before it gets to the point that it reduce or stall completely, we now have to put strategies that we need to implement to ensure that we have food even in 1 year's time to come. This I'm suggesting because I'm aware that without us working on a daily basis, where majority of the population work, how we live and work is through hand to mouth. We find today, eat it completely without saving, then go out tomorrow to look for what to eat with our families. If you are doubting what I'm insinuating at, I want to challenge you. You as a Kenyan, in your household, the food stuff that you have, how long can it last you without buying any other food? Can it take a week? Can it take a month? Can it take a year? Food insecurity is an issue in this country, and therefore we need to address it this early. How can we address it? By now, I hope, how I wish that the government would have seen this and give an order and put strategies where every land in this country should not be left barren, so that all land in this country are tilted, are plowed, and we plant food that can grow in that land. This way we will ensure that we have food even that will meet our need, that will assuage our anger even at the time that we cannot go to work, even the time that we cannot import more food. Let's not wait for the government. Some of these solutions are not for government, but it's for me and you. If you have a land, if there's a land next to you, you now need to go out and plow it and plant something. I also want to rally a call to agricultural institutions and ministry now to come out and advise our people which type of crop we need to grow in that particular land where we are and with the weather. So what we need to do is start by looking at those food crops that will be ready within the shortest time and the one that will take longer to harvest. What I mean is, we don't need to go and plant maize now that will take 3 to 4 months. What we need to do is do both, so that what we have now in our stores, we can be using them. By the time they are depleted, we can now switch to the ones that we planted that take shorter time. And this we need to do over and over and over and over until the time that the ones that is going to take longer will be ready for harvesting and use. For a case whereby families that can sustain us throughout the year. Most of these families, we have food that can only last us a day. So we need to ensure that we have food that can last us for a longer time. Kenyans, Africans, this is how to be prepared. We fail to secure our food. When wars come to us, we will turn against each other. For those who have, they are at risk, and the rich should not ignore this message, thinking that they are safe. They are not. It is really tough to reason with somebody who is angry. His only course of action is to get food. And if it means that he do away with you to get food, he will. Therefore, what we need to do now is to ensure that we can stock food through farming, because stocking, we don't have money enough to stock food. Where is that food? The population is so much, and what we have cannot sustain us for long. So we need to act, and acting wisely is now to start looking at ways we can grow food and even keep animals, not only food. We need to keep animals. If you can buy a chicken now, now, within 3 months, it will be ready. Do that. Those of us who are in town, cities, I want to urge all of you to do kitchen gardening. Just take a sack, put a soil, grow veggies, grow kales, grow cowpeas. This is going to be essential, and it will be effective in addressing the need for food in future, if this disease is not contained in good time. Fellow Kenyans, we need to think from worst case scenario. Our government will do very little, and if this disease eats us, great, then I can tell you that is going to overwhelm our government. For those who will be at what you want. Forgive me to sound paranoid. Paranoia in this continent is part of the solution. We need to act, and we need to act now. Planting food, even if this disease is contained within the shortest time possible, there's nothing to lose. We'll soon be working at home. Some of us are working at home already. But what are we doing to ensure that there's continuous supply of food? You want to work hungry? Nobody will. But because soon enough we are going to deplete what we have within our national granary, within our house or family granary, our supermarket will soon run out of food. I don't want us to be blind or caught unaware, but we need to act. Is there land laying bare? Take it. And I wish that our government will now come and make a declaration that every other Kenyans need now to go back to the basic, and that is farming. And every other land should be, there's a way, there's so many ways that how this can be done through the local administration. All lands are known who owns them. But if the owner is not around, it can be channeled in a manner that land is allocated to so and so. It won't take much to do. It won't take long to do. Lands that are lying there doing nothing, we know them where we live. The administration know them. What they can do enough for this country is to ensure that they have the list of these lands, and then come up with a strategy where these lands will be subdivided. At least every household should have a piece of land to till. And this one will now should bring into our thought some conversation of land. Land, we should copy countries like Ethiopia, where land belongs to the state and not an individual. But that's a cool. Plant skuma wiki. Rare animals. Keep a goat, keep a cow, keep a chicken, keep fish. Let's do some farming, whether aquatic, whether poultry, whether it is beef, whether it's cash crop, keep farming. There's certain things that we might not need now. We may not need it when this disease hit us hard. For example, coffee. If you have a land that you used to grow coffee and it is laying there, plant maize, plant edible food that you can eat within 2 weeks to a month to 2 months to 3 months time, because we never know. Me and you, we know that this country lacks the facility, the personnel, infrastructure to contain this disease within the shortest time possible, unless we are help. But before it's there, what are you doing as an individual? Washing your hands with sanitizers will not bring food to your table. Yes, of course, sanitizer, we need them. We need to keep ourselves clean. Wash your hands, avoid overcrowded places, and come to think of it, the normal nature of Kenyan businessmen to hike prices when demand is high, as at now, where sanitizers have now skyrocketed in price. Go and buy pure spirit or this cheap alcohol. Use them as sanitizer. How do you do this? Your wipes. Just go and buy wipes in a supermarket or some pieces of cloth, old clothes. Cut them into pieces and then dump them in alcohol. Carry them around. When you get into your matatu, after sitting down, take your wipe your hands with the damp cloth you dumped in alcohol. Be safe. Avoid close contact even when you're getting to a matatu. Avoid being touchy. You touch every seat as you move. I know the Kenyan matatus, you need to hold at that little metal up there when you want to stop. Now, alight only after the vehicle has stopped. Don't start moving out of the vehicle before it stops. That means the seats, which might be contagious. Avoid shaking hands. Avoid, if it is possible you can work from home, work from home. But do have a kitchen garden. Plant something. What this disease will make us susceptible to are things that can really take us back. Many of them. And we possibly can be danger to ourselves. So, one of the reasons that will really take us down is food insecurity. It's really tough to argue with a man who is hungry. The only language that this person understands is food. So you either give me food or I do it with you and eat. Before it gets there, Kenyan, plant something. Make sure that you have something that you can eat. I know your money will not buy something. Even if you have that money and there's no food to buy, will you eat money? No. It doesn't cost much to plant something, to have food or in a sack behind your balcony. It doesn't cost much, but you can reduce. And this time, I remember when we were in high school, one of the reasons that we were taught that cause of food shortage is eating greedily, poor eating habits. Now plan your food. What you have very little, now don't just eat as if it's a celebration. Don't feed with your food now, but plan. Little portion. It better you have something. My mom used to say that it's better you have a little today little tomorrow, and little for the next week. That's what the culture that we need to develop. Also, I know our health culture is a poor one. We only go to hospital when we cannot move a limb. Go to hospital anytime you see these symptoms. This African culture that we are strong, this myth that is being spread over social media that we cannot get this disease. It is not proven. It is a myth. You see any symptoms, go for checkup. You can prevent it when it's you can cure from it when it is detected this early. But don't go there when you are almost 3/4 dead. Thank you, my people. Share this. Talk to your people. Let's look at worst case scenario. Let's begin this conversion and think at what can we do when worst come to worst. I've addressed issue of food. What can you think of that we can begin addressing now when we are hit hard? Help this country by thinking. Share your ideologies, these conversations. Know that I didn't share that because I have a monopoly of knowledge. I know somebody might hear this and think of something more bright than what I've shared. So share this information so that we can assuage the thirst to know more and help us to plan, be ready, prevent during this attack. Thank you.